Highlight of the week, we saved the best till last because we've got some news to talk about out of the midterms, but we still don't know exactly what's going on. Megyn Kelly joins us from the United States, rock star. So, the red tsunami was garbage, the red wave never turned up, the ripple I heard you describe on your radio show today as the thing that you would put your little toddler in because it's nice and super safe. But I think one thing is really true, apart from anything else, right? Which is, guess what? People don't want woke, but they also don't want revolution from the right as well. And part of me thinks that this was a bit of a scream from the country, shut up.
Get back to normal. Just stop being so divided all the time. Stop fighting over every little thing. Yeah, I mean, the polls basically showed that they rejected each party as too extreme. And this dovetails nicely into a study or a poll done by a centrist think tank last week that came to the same conclusion. Actually, they're more a left-leaning think tank that came to the same conclusion that even the leftists think that they've gone too far. You know, liberals think the left has gone too far, and moderates think that the right's gone too far. I don't think they're wrong. I mean, I think the country feels incredibly divided right now and incredibly tribal. And in part that it may explain some of the results where people do think the country's going the wrong direction. 70% of the voters yesterday felt the country was going in the wrong direction, but they didn't vote for change. They voted for the status quo. Why would they do that? I don't know. I think it's a combination of factors. One, we are tribal. You've got your team jersey on. That's your team. You're trying to send your own team a message. I'm mad, but I'm not going to throw you out. I'm certainly not going to vote for those losers on the other side, right? Number two, I do think there was a quality problem with some of the candidates.
Behind me, I have a photo of myself, our former Prime Minister and the former President Donald Trump. Greatest moment of my professional life was to be able, as a little kid from Australia, to go to the White House, to meet a president, be in the Oval. Amazing, right? But even with that proximity, I can see what happened yesterday, which is the MAGA revolution part of things. It's not working. The DeSantis version of things is. Do you think it's DeSantis versus insert Democrat, or the control that Trump has over 30, 40% is enough for him to grind out a forever fight?
This question makes my head hurt.
Sorry.
No, but we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it because obviously DeSantis is a rising star and is the presumed standard bearer of the GOP flag. He crushed in Florida. He turned a state that he barely won by 34,000 votes to one he won by 1.4 million. Wow. He took Miami-Dade County, which was far left, and he lost it by, I think, 22 points, and he won it by 30. I mean, he's crushing every county. He helped every local politician in Florida come over to the winning side, every Republican in the entire state. It's officially red now, which is huge because it has a lot of electoral votes, and it really matters in presidential elections. So in any obvious world, he would be the guy. There's the 800-pound gorilla who refuses to exit stage left. And as I've been saying, I just don't see how the Republicans get anyone other than Trump nominated when Trump is saying, I want it. Because it is a cult of personality. His true diehards love him. It's not about Republican policies. It's him. It's like asking the Scientologists to vote for someone other than L. Ron Hubbard. You know, like, this is their guy. They're in love with him. And so if he's saying, I want it, I just don't see how they abandon him. I know a lot of people are mad at him. I know a lot of people are blaming him, and I'm sure that's probably right. But I also understand that most of those critics, a lot of them at least, are never Trumpers or people who have been critical of Trump all along. And I'm waiting to see the hardcore Trump party faithful say exit stage left. Once they start to say it, I'll start to believe there could be runway for DeSantis or anybody else. But right now the GOP is in such a pickle because of this dynamic.
So last one here. The reality about elections is that two things can be right at the same time. The reality of the American system is that there's 50 different states and there's 400 different races, so people can find data for anything else. But at the very end of your live stream, which of course I was watching during election night, there was a couple of people that were sort of starting to get a bit frown-faced, and then you said, hey, well, hang on, whoa. They're still going to win the House. It might take a few days. Remember, Biden wasn't declared president until the Saturday after the Tuesday, right? So it doesn't make him any less legitimate a president when he gets declared. So the same as it's not going to make it any less legitimate when the Republicans take over the House, be it today, tomorrow or Saturday. But all expectations is even just a win's a win's a win. So as frown-faced as people are because it wasn't a tsunami, it's not that nothing happened yesterday. No,
that's exactly right. Look, they were expected to win by more, and you can't argue that any other way. However, 100%. A W is a W, and the Republicans look, according to everybody, like they're going to win the House. I haven't heard anybody, even the most hardcore leftists, saying, yeah, that doesn't look likely now. And when they do take over the House, his agenda's done. The Biden presidency, for all intents and purposes, is over. He won't be able to get any legislation passed through. They're getting hired to be obstructionists. They don't need both bodies of Congress to do that. And they're prepared to do not just that, but to look into a lot of the Republicans' favorite issues, like, hey, how did COVID start? Wouldn't it be nice if we had an answer to that? Not to mention what Joe and Hunter Biden may or may not have done with Ukraine and so on. And those are a lot of great ticklers for the GOP base that will energize them going into 24.
Yeah, but my free advice from a long way away, don't be responsible for shutting down government, and offer some solutions, because people always want help rather than hate. Megyn, I could talk all day because I love this stuff, but congrats on broadcasting for about 28 of the last 36 hours.
Thank you. The pleasure's all mine. This has been The Highlight.
God love you. Thank you, Rockstar.
All right, great to see you, Paul.